Hello, and welcome to a very special update episode of the Brain Cancer Podcast. Hello, everybody. I'm not really sure what makes this episode exceptionally special or anything, and I haven't done any preparation really for it. But I just kind of wanted to update everybody on what's been going on and my absence for a few months, which I feel horrible about. And I'm having to basically relearn everything that I was doing and getting my confidence back. So if this episode is a little bit all over the place, that's kind of what it might be for another episode or two. And I do have one episode that I've already recorded that was done a couple months ago, which I am about 80% done with the editing process, and hopefully I will get that out this weekend. That's the hope, at least. So I haven't actually looked to see when the last time that I posted was, and there's just been a lot of things that have gone on over the past couple months. Personally, there have definitely been some ups and some downs, but as of right now, I'm doing pretty well. I've just had a very busy few months, and I just couldn't, despite my trying, it's been so difficult to try and balance everything that I want to do with taking time for myself and working outside and other obligations that I have going on right now. So if we go back to April, I think it was, May, I don't know, whatever it was. My doctors and I have been following these couple little specks on my MRIs, which over the course of about 2 years had been very, very, very slowly changing and kind of moving around. They proposed to me a surgery to go in, and the best case would be that we just cut your head open, and thankfully it was nothing. I wasn't exactly excited to do this, but I went along with it. And this was a fairly minor surgery because my tumor is a right frontal lobe, so all they had to do was follow the exact same cut from the first one, go in, take out the little bits of tumor that were there, and basically put everything back together and stitch it up. And that's what they did. I'm extremely lucky for that. And there were loads of appointments beforehand. There was blood tests and MRIs, and I had to get a COVID screening that I couldn't go to because it was a drive-up clinic, despite the fact that it was only 10 minutes away. So I had to go to a site downtown and spend an hour and a half just from going there, waiting in line, and coming back home. But it doesn't matter. It's all in the past. I went in for surgery on the 25th. I was scheduled for an 8 a.m. surgery. I don't recall exactly when I woke up. I think it was like the early afternoon time. Despite a little bit of a headache, it wasn't nearly as bad as my first surgery. By the evening, I felt much better. I was back home at my apartment by 10:30 a.m. the following day. I got discharged at about 9:30, and then by the time I got an Uber, which I found out I didn't actually need to because the hospital would have given me a taxi voucher, but oh well, I had a great conversation with the Uber driver anyways. Got dropped off at the pharmacy and walked the 10 minutes up my hill to my apartment, and I was back here by the following day after my surgery. So I was there and back home in just over 24 hours, which I think is pretty good. And then the day after that, I was already back outside working in my garden, just doing some light weeding, nothing too intense or anything like that, but just there were some weeds to pull, and it just got me outside, even just for like an hour, hour and a half, whatever it was, just to get outside and get moving. Instead of staples, they used stitches this time, and actually I think it healed up better than when they did the staples, because there were a couple spots on the side that kind of looked like they were sort of bunched up if you will, when they stapled it. But this healing for my second surgery, it was really good, and it looks much smoother and has healed very, very nicely, which I am super appreciative for. Also, when I got home that same day from the hospital, I took the clippers and just got rid of all the rest of my hair because they only shaved the part that had my initial scar on it. So when I took the rest of the bandages off, I just got the clippers and got rid of all the rest of it. And even my hair that I cut off, it's almost 3/4 of an inch or so now. It's been going pretty good. I only chose to wear a beanie outside for the first 2 weeks or so until my hair started to actually kind of grow in. And now I'll only wear it if it's going to be really sunny and hot outside, just because I don't want it to get sunburned. However, this July in Boston, we have had rain and rain and rain and more rain. And most of the houses on my street all have some amount of water in their basements. There have been a lot of issues with basement flooding due to the record amount of rainfall we've had up here. It rained for 60 hours straight prior to the 4th of July holiday, where it was actually decent outside, and then it went back to some more rain and more storms. On one hand, it's been good for the plants, although it's also causing all of the weeds in the yards and my garden to grow at just as quick, if not faster, rate than the actual plants. I will definitely try and take some photos of what we've got growing in the backyard this year, and I'll post them on the Facebook page if any of you are interested. It's just like things like gardening and yard work. It keeps me active and it keeps me busy. And I like having the knowledge that I can grow my own food and herbs. And it's just very peaceful when I can just put on some music and just kind of go and just do whatever I want. The time flies when I'm out there. It goes by really quickly. And then you feel good afterwards when you see the results of the work that you've put in. And it really puts me in a better mental place as well. It's very similar to just walking for me and just being outside. Just being outside in nature is enough for me. It's also the reason why fall is my favorite season. Fall is the absolute best season if you're in New England. It is amazing up here with the colors and the temperature, and it's just wonderful. Summer doesn't agree with me as much. It's so hot. But on the same token, we get to have really nice gardens, and people go down the Cape, which is also another great place to go if you're ever in the area. Just go down the Cape. There are great beaches, great small towns. In the past couple of years, we were down at Mashpee and Sandwich and a couple other smaller places and a couple other local beaches down there, but you really can't go wrong with anywhere down on the Cape. Back to the surgery thing, though. After I got home and we waited for the genetic breakdown of the tumor that they removed, which, yes, it was a small recurrence, and I'm glad that they were able to take it out, send it for verification, and to make sure that it still had the same mutations as before, which it did. It gave me a little bit of time to weigh my options for the future. I had spoken with my doctor, and because of my IDH1 status and an unmethylated tumor, normally the Temodar wouldn't be very effective in my case, but with the IDH1 mutation, we compared various peer-reviewed articles to show that there is a statistically significant improvement in progression-free survival and overall survival by doing a 6-month Temodar 523 cycle. So as of a few days ago, I had just finished cycle 2 with 4 more to go, starting sometime I guess in August. I have a little calendar that I made outlining my 5 on and then the 23 off and then the next 5 on and then the next 23 off, just for myself and in case my doctors might get a little mixed up or whatever. I like to be on top of all of this stuff. But I can imagine if you don't pay attention to these things, you just wouldn't know. But I like to always be on top of my appointments and my test results and everything related to my personal situation. So tomorrow, I do have labs. I see my doctor. We'll talk about the results of my MRI, talk about how I've been doing on the Temodar, which has been pretty okay. For cycle 2, which I just finished a few days ago, I didn't throw up at all. I just had this feeling of low-grade nausea for a few days, and it actually has completely dissipated now, and I was able to eat like normal today. Everything was fine. Mornings have been quite the struggle, though. Whereas if I go to bed and I get 6 hours of sleep, I'll feel the same as if I got 9 hours of sleep. I just can't wake up in the mornings early. I just keep hitting the snooze button. The morning fatigue has been the worst part for me. And I'm always a night person anyways. As I'm actually recording this right now, it's already midnight, and I'm not sure how long I'm going to be chatting with you all. But I just wanted to get this out there because I felt like I was on such a good schedule and a roll, and then I ended up having to have this surgery along with a couple other obligations that I will be done with in about 2 weeks. So I hope to get back onto a very regular recording schedule. And it was also coinciding with the warmer weather here, and I had been spending a lot of time both outside working in the garden and the yard, while also going over to the Arboretum for my usual walks and taking my camera. And I really wanted to get a lot of photos during May of the lilacs, and there's the rose garden down there, and there's just so much to see and to take photos of. And the Arboretum is one of my absolute favorite places in Boston to go walking or just go to see all of the amazing trees and flowers and everything else that they have there. I do have to say I really missed just being able to sit in front of my computer and talk into my mic. It was a little nerve-wracking initially trying to get back into it, but then I just hit the record button, started talking, and kind of just kept going from there. I don't really want to edit too much out of this episode because it shows how I'm feeling right now, and being a little bit nervous and using these dumb filler words like and or but. And that's stuff that I usually try and mentally focus on not saying, or if I do, hopefully I can work them out and try and make it sound a little bit better. But in this case, I just kind of want to put it out and just let it go, just to get it done and put out for everybody to listen to, because it's more me and it's more real, and I'm not really following any script here. I'm just kind of talking. I don't want this episode to drag out for too long though, but I will be trying to record tomorrow evening after I get home from my doctor's, depending on how I feel. I feel great, actually. Mentally, I am feeling fine. Physically, I'm feeling fine other than the fatigue. And the first scan after a surgery isn't usually the best set of images that you will get. Normally, it takes one more cycle between the MRIs to really get a full image of what's going on up in your resection area. But I think that it's been almost 6 or 7 weeks now. But I want to thank you all so much for being patient with me, taking the time to listen to me, and for all of your wonderful messages that I've gotten. And I respond to everybody, no matter what. It might be a week or whatever late because I've just been so bogged down over the past month and a half. But you can reach out to me for anything. You can also find me I'm on Discord. If you want to chat to me on there, you can give me a call on there. If anybody needs to talk, I'm always on there. You can email me at braincancerpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow the page on Twitter at BrainCancerPod, and like the page on Facebook at BrainCancerPodcast. I think that's it. It's been a while since I've done that, but I think that's it. If anybody needs anything, feel free to reach out. If it's any sort of emergency or you really need to talk to somebody, just let me know. I'll give you my number. You can call me. That's not a problem. Otherwise, just email, contact, my phone. You can always text me. I don't really care. So I just want to be there for everybody that I can and to help in any way that I can. I just thought of this, I will also be doing an update soon because it was finally released. The 2021 World Health Organization's tumor classification has been done for brain tumors finally, and there are a few significant changes that I want to go over just so that you'll be informed as well if you talk to your doctor about it. And I really would hope that your doctor, your brain surgeon, your neuro-onc would have already read up on this because it was released a few weeks ago. But just in case. Thank you all so much. I hope you all have a great day, great night, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.